Hello, everyone. Come. Sit down, have seats. Today, I'm going to teach you how to... Magic. My name is Fred Fizbin. Fizbin the Fabulous. And I'm going to teach you... Fireball. No. Featherfall. Wait. No, this is not the right world. I am Thargar, king of the dwarves, and I will crush all orcs. Wait, no, that's not right either. I'm Chuck, new co-host for Power Up Gamers. Today I'd like to tell you a little story about the first time I really got to play D&D. Now, when I was a kid in high school, I did see some kids playing. It wasn't D&D, but it was like a scenario. What are you going to do? Like, we're trapped on the moon, and how are we going to get out the space station? And then I had a couple buddies that wanted to play a little bit, but they, of course, didn't want to read the rules. And I'll be honest with you. Some of my learning disabilities, it takes a while for me to get a system in my head. I read it over and over. I mean, I don't know how many times at night before I'd go to bed, I'd sit and read through spells and just try to get this stuff in my head. And, of course, I was excited I wanted to play. So my neighbor found out that I liked it, and he introduced me to some of the kids he went to school with, and I didn't go to the same school. And so they said I could come and play with them. They were playing a high-level adventure. I didn't know all the rules, and this is back at 2E. And I thought, and I kind of talked to him a little bit about, I want to be a bard, but I want to fight a little bit. So they worked with me, and I played a half-elf. Well, back in 2E, when you can multi-class, you could actually have two classes, and you'd be like about a level under, maybe two under what everybody else would be, but you have two classes. So I could fight pretty good. I could cast some, spells. I could sing, do bard things. And, I had a flute they gave me that could summon one type of each elemental a day. Mithril chainmail. Boots of Elvenkind. I had a longsword. It was a +4. Dancing. I had all this stuff, and I was so pumped to play. And so we start the game, and the DM, we're fighting a mage, and he's using an apparatus, and I never get this name right, an apparatus of Kawash. It's this big spidery thing that's got all these little different things it can do. And the mage, the first time he acts, casts Wish on me and wishes all my equipment away. So I could sit there and have nothing to do the rest of that fight, and it was like 2 hours. Now, I was a little disappointed, but I was also just excited to see it play. Now that I'm older, I can see where a lot of people would have been turned off going through something like that, It's not cool to really do somebody that's playing the first time. One of the things I realized back then, and now that I've gotten older, is that a lot of those people back then were very analytical minded, and it wasn't about how you felt or telling the story. It was just, it's a win, a game. And it's one of the things, me coming back into D&D the last couple of years and seeing how big there is a push in 5e for story, not so much about mechanics. I love it. And part of the reason I want to tell this story is because you're going to find different kinds of players out there. You're going to find those technical players where it's all about knowing how to set your spells, getting everything set right, doing your maneuvers. Then you're going to find ones that are more focused on storytelling. And then you can find ones that are in the middle too. And I think when you look for a game, especially for those that are getting into the game, and it takes some time sometimes to find the people that fit what you want. And I would tell you that, a lot of people say it's easy to get in the game, and it isn't so easy. Sometimes it's hard to find people around you. Now, if you can, you want to look up online, you can find gaming stores, and you might be able to find a group. You could also look, there's a program called Roll20 My advice to that is you're going to have to keep trying to get into groups. They post them all the time. You're just going to have to pay attention and keep putting stuff in and get your character concepts down and have it ready and write out for them your background and how you're going to, your story. I've noticed a lot of them on there. That's a big part of their thing, and that's what they're looking for, and that's how you get picked. You can also find Facebook groups. Just look up D&D Facebook groups. I found some really good ones. Maybe a couple videos down the road we'll talk about those. But I think the big thing you got to realize is you're not going to necessarily find that click right off the rip. Now, some people may. I had a girl I ran a one-shot for last week. She thought it was amazing. It was her first time getting to play. But you really got to take a little effort to get out there and find people that fit to what you want from the game. When you meet a DM, find out what they expect. Ask them questions like, is story important? Or how much combat are we going to do? Kind of get a percentage. Also, and I'm not saying everybody does this, but I know a lot of groups do have video YouTubes. Find out if they got a channel, Twitch, YouTube. See if you can watch one of their games or listen to it. Get a feel for what's going on there. And everybody's worried about making a mistake and having a problem. Here's the thing. You're learning something new. Just like the rules. You're going to mess up. It's just going to happen. Stressing about it, don't. It's part of learning. And if somebody wants to give you a hard time because you're learning, you know what? You don't need that kind of attitude around you. Go find somebody else. I'm not saying it's simple, but it can be done. You get out there, and I'm telling you, man, when you find that group that fits with what you want, it's just amazing. I'm telling you, I've had some just amazing games in the last year. Some just amazing people. The role play, the storytelling, It's not just I go get this sword. It's, we kill a big dragon and now there's a baby dragon. Do you kill it? What do you do with it? Do you try to take care of it? Do you get somebody else to take care of it? Those moral issues and those storytelling issues, it can be fun to be a badass. We all kind of want that sometimes, I won't lie. There is a part of me that still is a little bit of a min-maxer sometimes. I gotta watch myself. But that's not a horrible thing. And it's part of what you want to play. That's your thing. But it's finding that kind of groups and those kind of people that fit what you want. Not a hard rule, but Pathfinder and 3.5, you're going to find a little more of the rules people and the people that are more about mechanics. Now, that's not a guarantee, but that tends to be an average. Come into 5e and you tend to find people much more based on story and, role-playing. I've seen some really interesting things. I think they got it off of Matt Mercer for I just had a brain fart. I can't remember his game. They everybody gets into him. He's out there and he's getting attention. And I won't lie, I picked up a couple tips off of him. Describing how somebody takes an opponent down. That's really cool. Other thing you got to remember, though, is, they've got people that are practiced voice actors, which not the same as an actor, but still they're a little better quality than the average person you're going to run to. That's somebody that does those things for a living. Just like Matt does, he's a DM, and I don't know how much of a living he makes doing it, but I know that he does it basically professionally. So that person's going to have a lot better game. It's great to strive for that, but you necessarily can't expect that to be your first game either. Unfortunately, there's a lot more players than our DMs. You find a really good DM, you want to keep that person. And you want to spend, and how much time they put in the game. Remember that A lot of DMs put a lot of effort into the game. If you got a question, don't challenge them in the middle of the game. Maybe ask a question. And if they say they want to talk to you afterwards, you can talk about it afterwards. Hey, I know for me, I'm gone much more to the story side of the game. I'm not so much about winning as I am telling an awesome story. You'll hear me talk a lot more about that style of play just because that's my preference. Like I said, I spent a couple years, 4 or 5 years when I was younger playing mostly that type of game. Dungeon crawls. I remember seeing one dude, he taught at one of the schools around where I grew up, and he'd have a D&D game after school, and I went to one of them. He had this character. It was a drow, and of course, if any of you are old enough to remember who Drizzt is, or everybody played drows. That's where drows and why they're even added in the player's handbook. Let's be honest. But he had this drow that she was a fighter thief, I think. Had a bastard sword that could let off fireballs. Had a ring of fire resistance so she could just wade into something and let off a fireball. I won't lie. Every once in a while I like to play a game like that. It's fun to just come in and slaughter things and be a big, have this big massive fight. But in general, I think you'll find a lot of people, especially coming into the game now, it's easier to learn 5e. A lot of people are getting into it. It's really kind of revitalized the game. You're not just seeing new stuff coming out, but you're seeing a lot of people getting into it, getting interested in it. And a lot of it is the stars out there that have got YouTube channels or that have got, like even Will Wheaton up there, he plays D&D sometimes in some of his games, or at least different versions. You really want to get into this game, find people. And if you don't fit in, find somebody else. Like I said, not always the easiest, but it can be done. You'll find them. It took me a little bit, and you can get frustrated, but it's there. You can keep trying. Just like learning. It's just a learning process. So get out there and have fun.